And it rained and rained and rained some more, 40 days and nights, and then Noah built an ark and floated up with it. Well, you and I don't have an ark. What do we do when the water level rises at our local lake if we still want to catch fish? I'm going to talk about that on this week's show, and we're taking you to a place where the water level has risen more dramatically than any place I've ever seen in my life. It's going to be a lot of fun and a challenge. This is Fox Sports Outdoors.
It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news from the Southeast region. This is Fox Sports Outdoors Sports South.
I'd like to welcome you in to a really beautiful area. This is the water supply reservoir for the city of Austin, Texas. Welcome in to Lake Travis. Very dramatic thing happened here this spring. The water level had dropped to the point it was 55 feet below normal level. Then, in the space of just a few weeks, the water level began to rise. It rained and rained and rained, and it came up 45 feet. 12 feet of it overnight in one 12-hour period. To give you some perspective, this is my Bass Tracker Pro Team 175. If you stack 2.5 of those end to end, standing straight up, that would be how much the water level has risen here at Lake Travis in such a short period of time. The challenge that presents is, what do the fish do? How do you find them? How do you catch them? Not only here, but in your local lake where the water has risen. We're going to talk about that on this week's show. It's going to be a lot of fun, could be a big challenge, but these fish can be found and can be located if you use a few techniques that we'll show you today. While we're out doing that, we're taking you around your local region for your weekly fishing reports from our team of insider reporters. They've got all the reports coming your way. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get it all started right now back at the studio with your weekend planner.
It looks like you have a chance to beat the heat this weekend by fishing early. The Allatoona tables are predicting the best morning game fish activity to begin at 7:28 a.m. on Saturday and 8:16 a.m. on Sunday. Look for the sun to rise at 6:28 and set at 8:38. And evenings will feature a crescent moon that is 20% visible. We'll be right back with freshwater and coastal fishing updates from around the region. Plus, 2004 Bassmaster Angler of the Year Gerald Swindle joins us to answer this week's Ask the Pro question. Stay with us.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price, every day. By Lose, setting a new standard of fishing performance. Feel the difference. By Gene LaRue and Bobby Garland Lures. With our baits, a good day of fishing is in the bag. And by Stren Fishing Lines, the standard of dependability.
I got one. I got one right off the tops. One of those bushes right there. Let's see what it is. Out here it can be most anything. Hey, welcome back everybody. We're on Lake Travis in Central Texas. We're talking about fishing flooded conditions in whatever lake you happen to live around, and some of the things we're going to talk about will work anywhere. So what I'm doing is I'm throwing a deep diving crankbait at just the right level where it brushes the tops of some of these flooded bushes. Now, the bushes that I'm fishing were literally on dry ground a month ago. So these fish have come up in a month. I'm trying to be real easy with this fish because I've got real light line on here. The water's real clear here. I may have him a little bit foul hooked or something, maybe why he's fighting me so hard. They are out here in these deeper treetops. So I've got a crankbait that I'm pulling along over the tops. There he comes. Yep, I've got him gill hooked. Pretty nice bass. Oh, don't jump. Got him hooked right under the gill. And he's got all the leverage on me. I got him. All right. Hey, that's a nice bass right there, sitting right on the top of that bush. So there's lesson number one, is you're actually fishing on the bushes that were on dry ground. Look how fat that fish is out there eating. Nice largemouth right there. And that crankbait runs around 12, 13 feet deep, which is perfect for fishing the tops of these bushes. I don't know if we can even see them or not, but you can actually see the very tops of the bushes way down under the surface of the water here. Those are the good ones, out in deeper water. For some reason, those fish don't really want to get up in those shallow ones a lot of the time. They will right after it rises, but after that, It's a little harder. All right. He gave me a good fight. See you, buddy. Thank you very much. All right, that's a good lesson right here and a good start to the day fishing along these little bushes and islands here. Let's get you some fishing reports from where you live.
This part of the program is brought to you by MirrOlure, the right tools to catch them. From topwater plugs to subsurface models to deep running lures like the deadly Heavy Dean. Turn on the bite anytime. Tie on a MirrOlure. Well, summer fishing's in full swing. I was talking to Captain Patrick Garmison over in Alabama. He said their fishing there in the lower and mid-Mobile Bay area has really turned on. He's catching redfish from small rats up to 30-pound bulls, using live bait, jigs, and sometimes rattle traps. Look for shell bars, deep drop-off edges, and bait pods. That's where the reds tend to be. He's also doing real well on flounder up to 3 pounds. He uses jigs to cover a lot of water, and because they tend to be in small schools. You catch a fish, get cast right back to the same area, and you'll catch some others. He says trout fishing has been good, but it's very early in the morning, sometimes with topwater plugs. Then it shifts over to a little bit deeper water, drop-off edges, look for bait pods, diving birds, and you can catch them on jigs and live shrimp at that time. Over in Georgia, Captain Brad Stewart on Tybee Island near Savannah is doing real well on flounder during low tides. He's working mud bar areas in the lower Savannah River, using popping corks and live shrimp, sometimes voodoo shrimp if he can't get a lot of live shrimp. He says offshore triggerfish and sea bass are around the KC Reef, CCA Reef, and the L Reef. And bait fish up to 12 pounds are available there too. Danny Patallo at Glorenflow Marina in Biloxi says that high tide fishing for flounder has been great around the CSX Bridge and in Davis Bayou. Trolling for big bull redfish up to 25 or 30 pounds has been very good too around Cat Island for those using troll spoons.
Welcome to the Freshwater Fishing Report for Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. This week's update is brought to you by Jimmy Jacobs Outdoor Adventures, your source for guidebooks on hiking or trout and saltwater fishing in the region. www.jimmyjacobsoutdoors.com. Now, the southern summer has a grip on our region right now. Daytime temperatures are hovering in the mid to upper 90s. But if you can stand the heat, the fish are still biting in Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi. On Alabama's Lake Martin, just to the north of Montgomery, the spotted bass are biting right now. The key here is to locate those open water humps in 25 feet of water. Be out there at first light to throw a pop-R for some topwater action. As the day heats up, go to a shaky head rig or a hair jig. Anything you fish that looks like a shad should work if you can get it deep enough to reach the spots. Over in Georgia, Allatoona Lake is red hot for hybrid bass action this week. This 11,860 acre impoundment on the Etowah River is only 30 miles northwest of Atlanta. A good area to target is the 1 mile up or downstream from Galt's Ferry boat ramp on the Etowah River arm of the lake. Slow troll a 4 to 6 inch shad in about 25 to 30 feet below the surface, and this is a proven tactic here. In North Mississippi, Granada Lake is good for crappie action right now. These fish are in their summer pattern, which puts them out on the deep ends of the main lake points. This is a good situation for trolling small crankbaits. Fish up to 3 pounds are possible this week on Granada Lake.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. I'm hooked up again. Tell you, there's some fish out here. I don't really care what I catch today. Stripers, whites, Guadalupe, largemouth, doesn't matter. The point is, I'm walking you through the steps of what happens when a lake floods or comes up a lot, like this one has. We're on Lake Travis, and let me walk you through the steps when a lake first comes up. First thing that happens is all that vegetation and all those bushes that have been on dry ground for, in some cases, years, like they have been here at Travis, get flooded, and the fish follow them immediately right up to shallow water. No matter what time of the year it is, those fish love all that cover and vegetation and food, and they'll get shallow. But then about 2 weeks later, all that stuff starts souring and decomposing, and the fish run out. They vacate quickly, and you can't catch a fish in all that newly flooded stuff. So you've got to back out to deeper water. Then what happens is what's happened here right now at Travis. Let's see what I got here. That's a striper. Up he comes. Not a bad fish. There we go, how about that? All these fish are doing the same thing, I'm telling you. They're where the bait is, and the bait hangs out in the third stage of what I'm about to tell you. Let's put that fish back. All right, that brings us to the third stage. After the shallow stuff, after all that decomposing is finished and the water turns back clear again, then the fish will move back to the outside cover. And so that's what we're doing today. We've got the shallow stuff that you can see with your naked eye, and we're fishing the stuff that's down underneath. In fact, I'll show you what a couple of these bushes look like on my Lowrance Elite 7 chirp unit back there. They're very obvious as you come over the top of them, and these fish, stripers, we've caught white bass, we've caught Guadalupes and largemouth. 4 species we've already caught right off the tops of those deep submerged trees that are way down there, bushes. All right, that gets you some idea of the process. Let's get you some fishing reports from your area.
Hey guys, everybody knows that Stormer is the industry leader in foul weather gear, but what you might not know is they also offer top-of-the-line performance wear, such as these long sleeve shirts, caps, and other accessories. It's moisture wicking material, it's UV protectant. Go to stormerusa.com and figure out how they can show you how to control the elements. Hey gang, welcome to this week's Tennessee and Kentucky Fishing Report. You know, it's dead in the middle of summertime here. The temperatures are hot, the recreational boat traffic's crazy, and for that reason, this week we're gonna talk about night fishing. Primarily gonna talk bass fishing. There are some catfishing guys that get out at night for the very same reason the bass guys do, but let's talk bass fishing this week. Most of your bass at night are more active due to the same reasons we would be. The temperatures are cooler, there's less recreational boat traffic on the water, and it's just cooler. It's overall more comfortable. They move shallow to feed, and those shallower areas are more greatly affected by the temperature difference between extreme daytime and nighttime. So spinnerbaits, jigs, worms, and some crankbaits in dark colors seem to represent the most popular nighttime offerings that are successful for bass. In Tennessee, Percy Priest, Old Hickory, Center Hill, Dale Hollow, and the Tennessee River are all popular nighttime destinations. In Kentucky, I would say, without a doubt, Lake Cumberland and Dale Hollow would be number 1 and number 2. But look, here's the deal. Be very careful. It's very fun. It's very refreshing to get away from the crowd, and it's a unique experience as opposed to daytime fishing. But be careful. Fishing at night has its own set of obstacles. So I would advise you in the Tennessee and Kentucky region right now, if you want to get out and enjoy some bass fishing, go after dark.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Exide AGM Marine Batteries. Starts like new, stays like new longer. By Motor Guide Trolling Motors. Introducing the XI5 for ultimate boat control. And by Nitro Performance Fishing Boats. Champions aren't born, they're made.
Got him. Boy, they are out here, I tell you what. Fish of all kinds. Welcome back, everybody. That's a bass. There he comes. I'm just gonna ski him the rest of the way in. He's a little bit too big to be flopping in on that little line, the largemouth. All right. Well, we've got some of everything, and let's talk about another factor here. 2 things. One is we've talked about bait fish. Let's talk about mud. A lot of times when you've got rising water, you've got a mud line in these lakes. Let's put that little 14, 15-inch bass back. Got a lot of fish moving. And so you want to try to fish on the clear side of the mud line. Somewhere in the lake, there's going to be clearer water. Sometimes when it rises quickly, it'll push the clear water to the backs of the pockets and the coves and the creeks. Sometimes it'll push it all to the lower end of the lake and the entire upper end will be muddy. You've got to drive around and find that mud line and stay on the clearest side of it you can. Now, of course, there are some times when they pull that mud all the way through the lake and the whole thing turns muddy. We had that situation at Lake Texoma this year, and there's really not much you can do in that circumstance, but wait it out, wait till they shut the gates, let things stabilize. It'll take 2 to 3 weeks for most reservoirs to stabilize out after the gates are closed and after the current stops moving through the lake from all the runoff, from all the rain flooded out of all the pastures and fields. So, find the clearest water you can find the bait fish on tops of the flooded cover, and you are in business. And I'm telling you, we're catching them one right after the next today. This has all of a sudden gotten really good. Time for you to get some more fishing and lake reports right now.
Hey folks, Captain E here with your Carolinas Report, brought to you by Marshall's Marine, located in Lake City in Georgetown, South Carolina. We're your bass boat leader since 1969. For all your nitro and bass tracker needs, visit www.marshallsmarine.com. First and foremost, it's summertime. Everyone's going to be on the water from recreational to fishermen. Please be smart. If you've had too much to drink, make sure you've got a sober rider on the boat. We want you home safely, as well as catching fish out there. In the freshwater side of things, my good friend Tony Carter has done some great trips out on the Waccamaw River here in the Myrtles Inlet, Myrtle Beach area, catching a lot of bass on anywhere where he found a school of bait. You might not catch those 8, 9, 10-pound fish this time of the year. You'll catch a lot of 1, 2, 3, and 4 pounders though. Also in the freshwater side of things, up on Lake Jocassee, one of the most beautiful lakes around, the browns and rainbow trout are in about 60 to 80 foot of water on top of treetops. Get out with artificials or live and troll slowly along those areas to catch some nice fish this time of the year. Saltwater side of things, you've got some great fish on the reefs right now. The spadefish are still hot. Also, the flounder are starting to get a little bit bigger on those nearshore areas. Remember, fish on the bottom with some good live bait or an artificial gulp, and you'll catch some great flounder this year. And as well as trolling, get out there for the Spanish mackerel and king mackerel. Taking a kid out and fishing the schools along the beach of Spanish mackerel can be a great time with fish of 40, 50, 60 plus coming into the boat. It's a great time, and also, again, the kids love it. As well as the offshore side of things, you've seen that water temperature's really heated up, but we've got some billfish located off the Carolinas. On the Outer Banks area, they're still catching some big eyes and some yellowfin tuna, as well as some dolphin and wahoo, with some great trips on the charter boats out of the Hatteras area. This has been your Carolinas Report. Remember, fish smarter, not harder, and keep your chaos organized.
Oh, there we go. There's one more decent bass right there. Look at this. Don't you throw that crankbait. All right, in the boat you come, baby. Way to go. All right, there's one more for you. Hey, we're about to go to a quick commercial break. There's one more bass on a deep diving crankbait right out over those brush piles. This has really been a great pattern, and I'll tell you, we have wound up catching a lot of fish. These fish didn't start biting until late this afternoon, and we had a really slow morning. It was really difficult. They started biting in the afternoon, and once they did, it was everything. Stripers, Guadalupes, largemouth bass, white bass. We caught everything this afternoon, and a bunch of them. All right, back that fish goes. I want to show you one quick thing going to break. I did catch one pretty nice Guadalupe bass earlier, and I wanted to show you this fish just out of novelty. There's not many of these around, not many places these fish are. They're only native to the central part of Texas. They're the state fish of Texas. You can see this one I caught out from under a boat dock. He's a beautiful color, stripes under his belly, gold, brown, and green mottled back. Great fighter, and they only get to about 1.5 pounds, but they're real fun fish. A very unique fish just to this part of the state of Texas. Hey, if you would like to book a fishing trip here to Lake Travis and catch some largemouth bass and Guadalupe bass and striped bass, you can contact my longtime friend, Alan Christensen, here in Austin. The information you see on your screen, he would be glad to bring you out and put you on some of these fish. Give him a call. We'll be right back.
Fox Sports Outdoors is brought to you by Tracker Boats. It's more than just a boat, it's a tracker. By Costa Sunglasses, see what's out there. By Mercury Marine, official outboard of Fox Sports Outdoors. And by Lowrance Electronics. Find, navigate, dominate.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time for the Ask the Pro segment, where viewers get expert insights from professional anglers. This week's question comes from Brady, who asks, how can I keep from missing fish on a buzzbait? For the answer, we checked with 2004 Angler of the Year, Gerald Swindle.
Often asked how to prevent missing more fish on a topwater or even a buzzbait. Hey, try a little bit softer rod, 7-foot, medium heavy. And remember, if you're throwing fluorocarbon, it has less stretch than the old school monofilament. If you're missing too many, drop back and try some monofilament 20-pound test on a buzzbait and a medium heavy action 7-foot rod. I promise you, you're going to get more hookups.
Thanks, Gerald. If you have something to ask one of the pros, simply visit our website and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your question. Now, someone's going to win a new pair of sunglasses on the Costa Catch of the Week.
Hey, this week's winner in the Costa Catch of the Week contest is Robin Swinford of Ocean Springs, Mississippi, showing a 17-pound red snapper caught in the Gulf of Mexico. If you would like to have a chance to be our next winner, just go to our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. Right inside of the front page, click in the Costa Catch of the Week area, send us your photo, you could be our next winner. And what you'll win is a brand new pair of Costa sunglasses. You can see all of the Costa frame and lens styles at their website. Just go back to the front page of our website, click on the Costa logo, and it'll show you everything they have to offer on their site, including the beautiful blue framed pair of sunglasses I was wearing on this week's show. This frame style is called Cat K. This week on the Academy Right Stuff, I want to talk a little bit about the rig I was fishing on Lake Travis today. Now, you see me fishing a lot out of this Bass Tracker Pro Team 175 TXW. Why? Because I love to fish out of this rig. It's everything you could possibly want in an affordable, compact fishing boat, all the way from the 60 horsepower, 4-stroke Mercury outboard engine on the back, to the Motor Guide X3 trolling motor on the front, carpeted live wells, full instruments, got the Lowrance electronics on it, everything you need. There's a complete walkthrough of this boat on our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. You just click on the past episodes and more videos here, and then click on the how-to video section. Once you get there, search down until you find my video on the Bass Tracker Pro Team 175, a complete rundown of this rig that I love so much. I spend a lot of time on the water, some of it big water. A lot of times there are waves, sometimes big waves. Many times if you look at just the wave in front of you and how big it is coming crashing toward the front of your boat, it can be plenty frightening. But there's an old captain's tip that says once you're out on the ocean, if you get scared of the big waves, look off to the horizon, you won't get seasick and you'll be much less frightened. You know, life is a lot like that. We have peaks and we have valleys. The peaks, in the good times, hey, everything's rocking along, but in those tough times when there are failures, hurts, and disappointments in our life that we have to endure, many times it will help to try to get our eyes off the little picture, the immediate problem, the immediate challenge in front of us. Look at the wider scale, bigger picture. Look at life downstream, and many times you'll find more peace and more calm than you ever imagined in the time of a storm. Hey, I hope you enjoyed our trip today to Travis Lake, just outside Austin, Texas. Here's the deal. I hope you won't be so focused on what we were doing in particular on this lake, but I want you to take the principles, the techniques that we showed you fishing rising water conditions. Take those to your home lake, employ these, and you'll catch more fish the next time you get a lot of rain and you find your reservoir rising rapidly. I wish you a lot of success doing that. Hey, don't forget to join us for next week's episode. We'll be on in our normal time slot at 6 p.m. Thursday with the repeat airing Sunday morning at 8:30. And don't forget that you can see all of our episodes 24/7 on the front page of our website at foxsportsoutdoors.com. And again, you can click on the past episodes and more video here area. You can see all of our archived episodes and catch up on any that you missed. Also, don't forget to follow us on our Twitter feed for all the latest fishing news, photos, videos, and free gear that we give away there, and like us on our Facebook page. From Lake Travis, Texas, until next week, I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.